There are 50 Bible stories, 25 from the New Testament, 25 from the Old Testament, and each story is maybe 300 to 450 words, something like that. And each has a setup. It sets up the theme and very personalized to a child. We go through the story, and then there's a prayer at the end, which really parents are able to include their children's name in the prayer.
Well, Amy, I want to ask you, as you have two noted children's authors working together on one particular concept, talk about your background, Amy, if you would, and how your version of storytelling and your gift of storytelling really blends with this project.
Well, first, I'm really just honored to be working with Mike. He's a legend in this world, and everybody knows it. But I have written books for a long time, and am just tickled to be able to blend. I write for younger children usually, and just to blend that with Mike's sense of humor and his heart to write these Bible stories for kids, just to make them really know that the Bible was written for them. It's the Bible for me. We wanted each child to feel like this was their personal story.
So, Mike, tell me about your own storytelling gift. Obviously, you were doing it for years with Veggie Tales, and now through books, you do it as well. So what do you bring to the table in this collaboration?
Well, so for me, storytelling has always been a very important way to convey biblical truth. This is my first Bible storybook, and I was really excited to write it with Amy. And Amy had worked on other Bible storybooks before, so I felt really good. Like, okay, she knows what she's doing. So I'm in safe hands. And so, but it was great. We actually started with illustrations. So it was a labor of love initially. We didn't have funding for this, but we had an illustrator, Taylor, who we called out. We chose our 50 stories. And then Amy and I went through and called out what illustrations we'd like to see in each of the stories. And then Taylor illustrated everything. And then we went back afterward and wrote the text for the story. So we could lean on the illustrations, to help tell the story and not have to use so many words. So, but yeah, we really wanted to tell stories that were, targeted at small kids, where they could learn that, the story of God's love for us and God's plan for us in a way that connects each story of the Bible one to another and becomes a grand narrative.
Mike Nawrocki and Amy Parker joining me today as we open up today's edition of The Meeting House here on Faith Radio as we talk about the Bible for me, Bible stories and prayers. It's the summer 2022 Christian Product Expo in Lexington, Kentucky. So, Amy, let's talk just a bit about the content selection. You talked about the significant role, Mike, the illustrator, Taylor Thompson, had as far as really developing the pictures for these stories. You wrote the text around the illustrations. Tell me just a bit about the selection process. What Bible stories made the cut?
Well, and as you indicated, there are a lot to choose from.
There are.
Yes, so we wanted to include the classic stories so that anyone who's opening a Bible storybook would expect those stories for their kids. But also our main goal was to tell the whole story of the Bible, not leaving out any major plot points from the Bible, so that the kids would walk away with this big picture version of the Bible and not just segmented stories.
Well, Mike mentioned that you had written or you had worked on other Bible story projects. What makes this one distinct?
I think every project that I work on, you always approach it differently. You always are in a different mindset. You always have a different goal in mind. And this one was to tell the whole big story of the Bible and then just to make it feel personal for kids. And it's not like necessarily I haven't done that before, but that was our main goal and focus, and we hope that every single word points toward that goal.